Let's talk about what men should do to appeal to women in general today and how being Mr. Nice Guy is an absolutely ineffective strategy. I'll start by sharing a personal tale to demonstrate how and why women appreciate people who don't always treat them nicely and expect the worst treatment from men. When I first started to genuinely like a girl in high school and subsequently in college, I made the same errors that naive BP males do. I gave her a lot of attention right away and told her all the things I appreciated about her. When I was in the 6th or 7th grade, I instantly started to give every female I had ever liked my complete attention like a simp, even when I wasn't attracted to them. Girls occasionally showed an interest in me. But as soon as I started to feel attracted to them, I made a stupid mistake, and all of a sudden, they stopped being interested in me. I'll sum up what happened with the first female I had feelings for. She was my girlfriend, and eventually, like for most simps, she became tired of me like most women would if they were dating a simp. She ruined me by ripping my tiny heart apart. My friends were as shocked as I was since it was the first time a girl had told me that I was basically not good enough for her. Thankfully, testosterone won out, I got mad at this woman, and I eventually moved on. When I ran into her the following year, she remembered the straightforward version of me, but by then I had grown 9 inches over the summer, moving from being 5 feet tall in 8th grade to 5'9" in just 3 months. As a result, I became highly attractive and desirable, and the girl I had formerly admired began to approach me. But I didn't care. I would either not answer the phone when she called or, if I did, I would ignore her. I made a discovery, and I started using it in my daily life right away. Being unpleasant seemed to garner me better treatment from women, whilst being nice seemed to bring me bad conduct from them. I consequently lost my patience with them. Here is what I found out. The worse I treated them, the more they liked me. The catch is that even though it was described as worse, the reality is that I was really treating women with the same apathy as archetypal guys would. And guess what? They loved it. I had only recently begun to speak up for who I was and what I stood for. I wasn't trying to be polite or dodge the topic, I was just saying what I felt. If it was my exit off the expressway, you were lucky to be close to me. I wish that this was the way it always was since I had just learned how to use women to obtain what I wanted. They changed into all I had ever wanted them to be in a relationship once I started acting like a jerk to women, like a cocky, intelligent, and arrogant man. I was surrounded by conflict as a result of this cockiness, intelligence, and arrogance, which sparked the subsequent events. In the end, the girl I was seeing cheated on me with my roommate. So, after I increased in height and popularity, the girl who I had earlier put on a pedestal and who continued ignoring me began to want me. She really couldn't throw herself at me much more than she already was after we had been dating for a few months, during which I was keeping a respectful distance from her except from when we wanted to get physical in the bedroom. Following that, I began to feel affection for her, and I naturally began to treat her rather kindly. That was the biggest error I made. Girls believe the relationship is ended the moment you treat them with respect and dignity. And so, I realized that what we've been taught throughout our lives was wrong. Girls prefer not to date good guys because they are aware that they will still be available when she has completed her circuit of the neighborhood. The nice men will always be their plan B and plan C. They desire, and always will want, the bad boys. They do, however, wish to transform the villains into heroes. Every female wants to accomplish it, it's like a personal quest. To domesticate a wild animal that will remain wild to her but behave as a pet to the rest of the world. And when she has altered and tamed the animal, which, incidentally, never happens. But if that does happen, it will likely lead to her breaking up with the man who was formerly the bad boy because he is now simply too sweet, and women generally find it difficult to deal with a man who is nice to them. They are predisposed to think that males should always treat them with a certain amount of arrogance and indifference. It's been drilled into us our entire lives that this stuff is harmful, but the truth is that even our young boys are taking Ritalin and other pharmaceuticals at school to truly rein in their aggressive behavior. I'm speaking to the guys here, and the first thing you need to understand if you want to learn how to attract the women you want is that practically everything you've ever been told is untrue. Regardless of their moniker, jerks always get a reaction from women. Guys, you need to understand a specific idea. We've been taught to be gallant, courteous, kind, and generous, as well as to hold the door open for ladies. Your indoctrination needs to be undone. Women don't naturally crave this kind of respect. A woman's soul is pre-programmed to react to men who fit the stereotype of an aggressive, masculine, haughty, testosterone-fueled guy today and in the future. This is universal. It will never change. It's like a law of nature. You shouldn't seek advice from married people either. Married people have very different lifestyles. They simply lead quite different lives. They are not necessarily bad people. People who are married and those who are not have different motivations and goals. Otherwise, given that he has a wife, a married man would tell you something different. This situation is different for married males because they are committed to a long-term relationship. They behave differently because their bodily and emotional demands are met. And after they have children, things alter even more since they are primarily concerned with taking care of, feeding, and nurturing their offspring. Everything else is secondary. They have no time to play any games. We've been told that aggressive behavior, making eye contact with women, and being bluntly direct are all indicators of a man's callousness and arrogance. Well, guess what? Instead of seeking to be their friend or in any other way, I have drawn more women this way. And it made me happier and more confident to be more arrogant. In college, I recall that after dumping my old simping self in the gutter and working on myself to become masculine with stereotypically masculine traits, I had higher grades, a better social life, and just a better time overall. I had goofy friends who wanted to hang out with me and girls who wanted to be with me. Remember that you are the actual treasure, guys, whether you are in high school, college, or even after graduation and still single. You are the jewel in the crown. You simply need to align yourself with the actual essence of masculinity. Being a simp will not make women want you. You must adjust to men's true character. You'll hear from society repeatedly to lower it down, be softer, and be this or that. However, you must behave like a man if you are one. And now you are aware of the ideal characteristics of a man. One of the biggest revelations of our times is how men have fully come to terms with the nature of women, and for the first time, have truly started to understand what it takes to make relationships last, and what it takes to increase their desirability and attractiveness in women. Then we also have men who have been severely burned by women, and that has led some of them to go their own way, and choose a life of peace as opposed to being in the constant drama that relationships bring with it. Men have realized that stepping back, ignorance, and indifference are massive parts of the interplay between men and women, and how men can use this to become irresistible to women. And being irresistible is not just about ignoring women, it's also about truly knowing the nature of women, and how they almost always have the upper hand in dating and relationships, because they are used to exploiting men for their time, energy, and resources. With more knowledge among men about all of this, I think women are going to find it increasingly difficult to attract the men they want to in the future. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.